Hello everybody, Ace here, giving it to you straight with day 79 of Video Log Challenge, and today I wanted to talk to you all about the age of Horus and how we're moving from being toddlers in the spiritual sense into being kids, and how are we supposed to regain our innocence before facing the trauma that happened when we were innocent. Now, I was in a conversation from Shadow Hero. I believe it was volume 5. It should be coming out. If not, it should be out by now. And me and Sean talked about the Age of Horus and how the Age of Horus is a time period we've just moved into where we are graduating being toddlers in the spiritual sense, and we are now moving into actually being kids or children, right? And it's time to heal the inner child in order to be the child and to have that innocence and to live life with that sort of energy. And so today I wanted to talk about why I believe that innocence is so hard to regain and what are some of the steps we can take in order to get there. Now, finding your innocence once it's lost is very difficult because it's marred and just compacted by trauma and so much trauma and so much trauma. We let go of that innocence. We let go of that perfection. We let go of that idea. We separated ourselves from that our divine selves because it was too painful to believe that what we were going through, especially at that young age, the human age, right? Very, very young, most of the time between the ages of 1 and 7, is really where most of our trauma comes from, and then it just gets stacked on top of one another. And that's why it's so difficult the older you get to teach a dog new tricks, right? Because we're having to let go of even more layers of the initial trauma. And so that's why I'm big into rooting through trauma, because I don't just want to have to pick all the pieces of paper up to get to where it is I'm trying to get to. What I want is I want to go straight to the root, pull it out, and then let the rest of it fall by the wayside. I'm trying to heal as efficiently and effectively as possible because it's fucking painful. And I don't know about you, but I'm tired of not choosing happiness because I feel like I can't. And so that was really what motivated me over the last 4 years was, why am I the way I am? And how do I regain that innocence, that childlike fantasy about life, that wonder, that hope, those dreams, those aspirations, and then you go out and you play and you have fun, and you don't need alcohol, and you don't need drugs, and you don't need sex, and you don't need all of this matrix distractive soul reaping things to actually have a great time in our lives. Because something I've realized in living in the matrix and being someone who was all about the matrix is we were always needing to put some type of chemical reaction in this vehicle in order to have any sort of experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about the experience of going to the movies, right? You go to the movies and you get your popcorn, so you get you get your processed carbs, and then you get your trans fats, and then you get your candy with your processed sugar, and then you get your soda with your high fructose corn syrup, and then you're taking in all of this poison, and you're then watching programming, literal programming, and it's super loud, and if you're watching graphic material, it could be as if it's really happening, and it could actually be traumatizing us on a very small scale. But over time, that's where that desensitization comes from. That's where that numbing comes from. And so a lot of the things we even enjoyed as kids, the movies, the shows, the TV series, they're not the same ones anymore. And so what has happened in our society, what has happened to our innocence, is that it's been traumatized repeatedly and then marketed into oblivion and then programmed into, and so now we've been taught as adults, which in reality we're as young as our initial trauma. And if we're basically walking around with all this trauma, then we're all walking around pretending to be adults, pretending to be grown-ups, and in reality we're still children. and we're still those broken, traumatized children, and that's where you're seeing reactions, and you're seeing it more and more as the energies of the planet changes, right? As the energy of the planets change, you're seeing more and more of people's stuff come out because we have no choice but to transmute it. We have no choice but to shed it. We have no choice but to root through that trauma now and go through those experiences in order to regain that innocence so that we can then be the manifestors and those God beings that we really want. Because that's really what childlike is being. It's childlike. I feel a lot of people have this idea. This is the idea I had when people said childlike. I'm not a child, or I'm a grown man, right? In reality, childlike isn't. I think we think about the immaturity when we think of children, right? And because in a way, children in our society are casted as immature and this, and you know what I mean. Every group is made to feel marginalized, is made to feel less than, because that's part of keeping us oppressed, and it's part of keeping each other oppressed, right? And so, as children, and we're going through these experiences, we're starting to learn that, oh, I don't want to be this way. I don't want to be happy anymore because every time I'm happy, somebody yells at me. Or every time I come and I tell someone I love them, they look at me as if I'm crazy. Or when I tell mom and dad about these channelings I'm getting where all of a sudden I'm on a spaceship, they tell me that I need to stop making things up. Or when I say somebody's talking to me that I can't see, they tell me I have an imaginary friend. And so we're constantly just putting our true nature down. And that's what childlike is. That's what childlike innocence is when you didn't care what people thought of you. It's when you embraced your weirdness. It is when you allowed yourself to wonder, to explore the cosmos, to go on those Palladian ships and believe you're on them, to believe the floor was hot lava, to have fun in the woods, to be able to sit down with a coloring book and be perfectly content, to have real conversations, to be truthful, to stand in your truth, to feel your feelings right then and there, to not be ashamed of your feelings, to not be ashamed of who you are. That's regaining childlike innocence. Isn't that what we all want? That's what I want. And it's very difficult because the programming and then the pressure from society to continue being in that program state has everyone convinced that they are mature, that they are the adults, that they are the authority, and that this needs to be this way. And in reality, if they were to regain their childhood innocence, they would go, this is my idea, but I want to hear yours as well. I want to share my idea with you. I want to share my space with you. I want to share my time with you because I love you, because you're another human being. And because we've lost our childhood innocence, which is in reality, we've just put the wool over our eyes and pretended to be something we're not because we're following everyone in front of us for generations now, people. I mean, I'm talking about this stuff as if, but we're talking generations of programming. I'd say after World War II was when everything really started to change. Operation Paperclip, Operation Mockingbird, 47, Roswell, everything started happening, alien tech. The Nazis, they didn't actually go through the Nuremberg trials. They were 1,500 Nazi scientists and SS officers went to USSR. 1,500 came to the United States, started the space program, started the space race program, and then started just taking over the world from there. And that's what we're actually seeing unfolding right now. And we're seeing all of that trauma coming out through our vehicles because the only way we can transmute the darkness and return to that childhood innocence, which is going to help us then shift the planet into 5D so that we can finally become Christed and turn Earth into Eden once more. I believe it's possible. It may take a while. But I'm the turtle, right? So I'm here taking it slow. But again, when we were out, childhood innocence is presence, isn't it? You're not rushed to be anywhere. You're not stuck in the future. You're not worried about the past. You don't know what time is. You look at everybody else running around and with their heads cut off, and you're like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And then eventually we get lulled into the dream. We get lulled into the experience, the human experience, because we need to. We absolutely need to. But I'm grateful for all these experiences. I'm grateful for the fall from grace. I'm grateful for losing myself. I'm grateful for all of it, because when you remember, man, does it feel good. When you bring light in, when you start to heal, when you do start to regain that childhood innocence, when you can have fun without putting some type of chemical reaction into your body, right, into your brain. It makes it all worth it, man. It really does. It makes it all worth it, and it makes it worth it every time that you fall from grace to go through some more healing, to go through some more processing. Something else I started to realize over the last couple of weeks. It's been intense. It's been an intense couple of weeks, energetically wise, as a collective, individually. I mean, it has been just an intense couple of weeks. A lot of processing, and that's what I realized it all was. It's all processing. So if you're feeling crazy, if you're feeling like you went backwards, that you were getting your childhood innocence and all of a sudden you're losing it again and you're angry and you're back to being bitter and you're back to being, it's because you have to be there again. If you're doing all the right work at the right time, right, and you're doing everything you can and there's nothing else you could possibly be doing and you still feel like that, that means it's working. It means it's getting out of you, and the only way to get out of you is you have to feel it, because we didn't allow ourselves to feel it the first time. You can't get away with it. Your bill will be due. And whether we feel it in the emotions we feel now and we're angry and we want to fight the world, or we get cancer, or we get in a car accident, or we lose a limb, or we get another disease, or you will learn that lesson, or you will exit one way or another. That is, it comes down to, there are certain lessons that need to be heeded in each life to grow the soul. And eventually the universe comes knocking with bigger and louder red flags, and eventually this vehicle will not be able to last, because this vehicle is a being itself. This vehicle is a consciousness itself, and this vehicle is also the traumatized, scared little boy or girl, right? The ego. Therefore, even though we're grown and we have hair, we still don't feel grown. We still don't feel mature. We still don't feel good. We still don't feel secure, confident. We still feel like that scared little boy or girl, and it sucks. But you walk the path of being human and you regain your innocence, man. Your body starts to heal, and then it starts to grow. It's crazy. I'm reversing an age, and then my body's completely shifting on me and changing. I'm just listening to it. I'm eating when I need to eat. I'm not eating when I don't need to eat. I'm eating the foods that I need to eat when I need to eat them. If my body wants some whatever, I just listen to it. For the first time, I'm just listening and just heeding all of the information coming in, and it's just unlocking everything. And I'm not the only one. I just found out this autistic mystic guy, he went through the same kind of thing where his body was one way, and all of a sudden he started to ascend and he started to unlock and he started to remember, and now just come out of nowhere. I'm not even working out. I'm just meditating and eating good and loving myself, and I'm literally manifesting the being, the body, the being, the human being I've always seen in my mind's eye. And every time I would look in the mirror and go, who is that? I don't notice that guy. I don't know who that is. It's the body trying to get us to notice it so that we can start doing something about it. Because the body isn't us. We aren't the body. The body is innocent. The human is innocent. We're the eons old fractal of God. We know everything. We are everything that is, has been, and ever will be. And when we remember that, that's when we become this body's keeper. We become our brother's keeper. And now we start serving ourselves because it's not us. It's a life of God that we are in charge of. This body sits in our aura, sits in our spiritual field, which means that we protect the body with our energy first. We're just energy beings. We're just photons and dark matter. Really, dude, it's crazy. I'm learning more about electrons from more of a spiritual sense. Apparently, the electrons are just the spark of God, and that electrons, they're in everything, right? So they're just made up of electrons, which is made up of divine intelligence. That's divine intelligence. It's the electricity that runs through our bodies. It is the auric field, the energetic. The divine masculine and feminine is the magnetism with the uh, resonance, magnetism, and something. Fuck, I forgot. But it's the age of Horus. It's never said it was going to be easy. You know what I mean? No one ever said that it was going to be comfortable, that it wasn't going to suck. Because do you remember being a child? Yeah, there was a lot of great times, but most of it sucked. Be objective. Be objective. Because you feel the way you look and feel inside yourself now is how you did 6, 7 years old. You didn't feel like a younger version of yourself. Your body felt younger, so your energy levels, right? And if you've become this body, then yeah, you feel older, you feel young. But once you start to be able to detach yourself from the body and remember, you can really look back and feel who you were as a child. And like you're the same being, you're just getting told what to do by people that are bigger than you because you're in this tiny body. Now you're an adult telling little bodies what to do. And you don't understand why they're mad at you. It's because they're you, just in tiny bodies, who deserve respect and deserve to be heard and acknowledged and seen. And because you weren't seen, heard, or acknowledged, now perpetuating the same, not seeing, not hearing, and not acknowledging of the younger generation. And that is how we've perpetuated the same cycles for millions of years. Because it's just being traumatized, growing up, and then turning around and traumatizing the next. And that's ancestral trauma. It's just traumatizing. Grow up, put all your shit on the younger generation. Grow up, put all your shit on the younger generation. And that is where we're at. That is literal programming. And we've all been doing it. We've all chose to do it. We've given our consent. Every moment, every day is a choice. And so now the choice is to regain our innocence. The choice is to embrace the age of Horus, to go through this transition and transformation into the fifth dimension, which requires us to shed all of the stuff that has never been felt, heard, or acknowledged from our past so that we can heal the human body that we're not. And then we can ascend into the living kingdom because that is what our God-given right is. But through the body only, through your temple. If you can't take care of this, then what makes us think we can take care of the temple? Take care of the kingdom. You know what I mean? So everything's earned in this life, and I feel like that's another part of the program is everybody wants what they want without doing any of the work. And I'm there with you. I don't want to do any more work. I'm tired. But I'm willing to do that work because I know that the more I do this work, the easier it becomes, the less I need to think about it, the more loving it becomes, and then it just becomes what I do. It's no longer work, and my life is blissed out all the time because I'm doing what I need to do instead of doing what I want to do, which is kind of being like a child throwing a temper tantrum. So in the end, we're children with however we're acting until we choose to be the adults, until we choose to stand in our authority, stand in our sovereignty, stand in our truth like the lions we are, to ascend. But right now we're moving back and forth. We want to be that adult, but we still got our child stuff that we got to work through. We still got our education. We're on that school bus. We're still going through the motions. We're going through the age of Horus, but we have to be a child before we can be a teenager. And then eventually, we are the masters. in every moment of every day because we choose to be, because we did the right work at the right time, because we regained our childhood innocence. Because that's the key about being about mastery is you need to regain that childhood innocence so that you can go forth with love and compassion. Because you can't be a master and be a dick. It just doesn't work. You don't heal people being a dick. You trigger people being a dick, which can actually help them heal. So maybe there are some masters who are dicks, but I I have not come across a single benevolent spirit that has helped guide me or someone in my life that has been a true person of God that has helped me that was a dick. Regaining our childhood innocence is regaining our ability to love, our ability to forgive, our ability to be compassionate, our ability to let go, our ability to comfort, our ability to do all the things it is to be human, to be a child of God. And so this age of Horus needs to be looked at as a gift, not as a, oh, I'm not a child again. No ego anymore. There's no more time for the ego. Let's move to a point where before we had ego. That's regaining childhood innocence. Get to the point before you formed ego, to where you felt your feelings when you felt them, you told people your truth, you spoke candidly, and if somebody hurt your feelings, you told them that. You stood up for yourself. You didn't. And if you've never been at a point you don't believe in that at that point in your life, then that is your boss battle now. That is your challenge, is to learn or to remember the other lives where you did stand up for yourself. You did stand in your lion. Or maybe this is the life where you need to learn to do that. So if people are coming at you all twisted all the time and you don't know what's going on, it's because that's your boss battle. You're going to have to navigate that in order to regain your childhood innocence and be able to receive that type of attack with love. I'm talking to myself right now because I'm a warrior still. I'm trying to put down my shield, trying to put down my sword, because I'm also still regaining my childhood innocence. I'm still shedding. I'm still processing. And now I'm just starting to realize that's what it is. And I'm starting to gain even more compassion for myself, which is helping me heal even more quickly. The less you resist what you're feeling and the more you just forgive yourself and you be there for yourself and you love yourself, it'll just, and your transformation will just go so quickly and so smoothly. But it's all about resistance, and it's all about believing that we aren't this, or believing we don't need this, or believing we don't deserve this. Our beliefs, our misconceptions of ourselves is what takes. I talk about the dark winter of the soul because it took me 4 years because I am stubborn as a mule and I wouldn't let go. I had to do it my way, and I had to do it my way, and I had to do it my way until God broke me down, broke me down, broke me down, broke me down. And now I'm thank you because I'm free. Free yourself. Regain your childhood innocence. Heal your trauma from your past and be the ascended master that you are. I love you all very much. I'm so very proud of you. I'm very, very grateful for you. I hope you gain a little bit more clarity on your path today. I hope you get a little bit further on your journey, and I hope you can bring in a little bit more love into your heart so that you can see that the only way to ascend is to go through our trauma of our past, to regain our childhood innocence so that we can learn how to love again, to be loved again, to be love again. And from there, the world will fall in place. It's inevitable, but it starts within, and that is all we can control. So if you liked what you've seen and heard today, hit that like button. If you want to join the Army of Energy, hit that subscribe button. If you want to follow me on Instagram, same name, Army_of_energy, Army of Energy on Instagram. If you want to donate to my work, I'd be so grateful. Got my PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo links down below. Also, Dirt. I'm a brand partner now. I really believe this stuff is a game changer, y'all. Like, on an emotional, spiritual level, this stuff is helping me process out the trauma and the emotions and the feelings I had stored in my body for so long, and I'm regaining my childhood innocence because of it. It's wonderful. So if you want to learn more about that, hit me up, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button. I'm so grateful for all of you. I hope you have a wonderful day, an even better evening, and I will see you all on. I'm actually switched. Yeah, I'm switched to 6:30 now. I want to see. I'm playing around with the algo. I want to see kind of what the best time is to put these videos out. If you all have any suggestions, let me know. But I'll see you all at the same time tomorrow. Take care and goodbye.